These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Saturday, December 2nd, about an hour after we were supposed to because I'm a moron. And I fell asleep. And in classic Jack fashion.
It's noon.
It's just
noon, by the way.
It is, in fact, noon. I did go to sleep at like 5, but it is noon. So ratless myself, earlier edition ratless of the show. But Celtics last night took down the shorthanded 76ers. We put a video up on that on the channel if you'd like our full thoughts on that game. The Embiidless, Maxi-less 76ers gave the Celtics problems, which we discussed and we got frustrated at last night. Go check that out. Patrick Beverley was a dog. So that's what you can look forward to in that one. But do you want to do Inpopnito winners during the emails? So push it
just
later
do
in
it
the
at
show.
the beginning. It's what we've been doing.
All right, let's rock with the Inpopnito in that case. What is the wheel? Let's see. You left the ats are super cool.
Yeah.
All right. So updates on the Inpopnito, just because we got this and we said it on the pregame, but just for the people that haven't heard, one-time winner only is the Inpopnito rule now. So if you win an Inpopnito, i.e. Joey Spatulas, i.e. Jenny from Japan, or anybody who has won an Inpopnito, apologies, but you can only win once. And so we still encourage you to get yourself some Inpopnito.
Yeah.
Once you win. However, you cannot enter a second time. I am pacing them in the wheel as we speak. I'm almost done, but I just ran into a back-to-back of people that we had already posted in the wheel, and it was like already in there from the last wheel in the exact spot I was about to pace them. So shout out bomb.com.
I think I kept them there. That's why.
That is
because I knew they had commented again.
Okay. that would in fact make sense. Shout out.
Yeah. If you've already won, like the product's good, like get yourself some more. There's so many different flavors to try. I'll be putting in another order for myself soon. I'm just about out here. And popcorn's amongst my favorite snacks. Inpopnito does it the best. And again, so many in the mood for salty. You can get the buttery flavor. You want something sweet, caramel, chocolate, caramel, apple, name it. They have just about something for everyone, so you can get in on the fun.
Nate Boss likes the cheddar disguised caramel, and I agree with him. But let's see who's going to win some Inpopnito popcorn today. Spin the wheel and get a winner. Those winners in Inpopnito will be
Harold takes home the win.
Shout out, Gerald. We'll be getting in contact with you, getting you set up with some super cool, super good popcorn. Sam is literally eating it whenever we jump into the room. Like it is a fact. We enjoy the popcorn.
Now I'm out.
We like it.
Now I'm just about out. But before,
we'll have to reload.
I was slamming some back.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to reload. But getting into the Celtic stuff here. We have another update on Kristaps Porzingis, who is still out with a calf injury. Has not practiced as of recording. He has been ramping up. He has been getting on the court. Joe Mazzulla said at the game yesterday he hasn't practiced with the team, but he was on the court and he has been sort of ramping up a little bit to get back. Status for Monday's quarterfinal of the in-season tournament against Pacers still up in the air. At practice yesterday as we're recording this, so Friday or Thursday. At Celtics last practice, actually Thursday, he was wearing a calf sleeve over his calf, and he was working on the bike. So he's been trying to ramp up. But yeah, Sam, any thoughts on the injury? Any update? Are you okay with him missing time this early? Is it frustrating? I know we kind of expected this coming into the year, but still.
Well, I can't really get mad at him, but I sure would like him to play in Monday's game against Indiana. He was on the Celtics broadcast earlier this week. I know you were at the game against Chicago, but he did sit down with Mike and Scal, and they had a conversation with him. And he seems like he's ready to go. And that was on Tuesday. He wasn't sure if he was going to play yesterday against Philly, but I think he might have even dropped the fact that he's aiming for this next game as his return date. So it'd be spectacular to have him back. It's a meaningful game. It's obviously a competition the Celtics have put weight into. They wouldn't have blown the Bulls out by so many points and made a big emphasis out of it. if they weren't trying to win the whole thing. If I had to guess, I would say he's going to play. That's just my gut feeling. I have nothing that points to that. I don't have any inside information, but just from everything we've heard and kind of his vibe, I think he's going to play. That's all I can really say about it. But I think throughout the season, he's been excellent. He's been a huge part of the team's success. He helps things when the Celtics get a little bit out of control. He can be a calming force. They post him up. His decision-making is good enough to make the right play, as is Tatum. Brown's still getting there. So to have him in the lineup will be a major boost in an important game against a team that doesn't play a lot of defense, by the way.
Yeah, having Porzingis in that game would be a giant help for the Celtics against the Pacers. Miles Turner is obviously a good defensive player, but the Pacers are a terrible defensive team, and they have been all season. And the Celtics have taken advantage of poor defensive teams for most of the season. Atlanta, Chicago, a couple sprinkled in there. The Wizards, who are something different. But yeah, it would make sense for Porzingis to try to aim for that in-season tournament game. It's a big game. They clearly care about it, right? You've seen it throughout the in-season tournament that they care. And Porzingis recently came out and said, or Joe Mazzulla, I'm sorry, said at practice, like, the perspective on the point differential thing, like Kristaps was confused why we wouldn't play harder, because in Europe, point differential always matters. So Kristaps, for him, respecting the game is playing hard no matter, what the score is, who's on the court. And for the U.S., it's putting in some other guys to play and blah, blah, blah. So Joe said, effectively, if we can be the best at playing hard no matter the score, I'd like that. That'd be a good mindset. So I figured you'd enjoy that quote and that help from Kristaps, because that's where the wagon you've been on for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in the video that went up yesterday, but a lot of integrity for the game on Friday against Philly. Didn't blow them out, kept the game close. They kind of owed it to the league after Tuesday's humiliating display by them actually playing hard for the whole game. Sometimes you have to let the other team hang around, and that's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Going forward, I would like to see them play every game like their backs are against the wall, or at least have that kind of mentality, because against Philly, it just wasn't there. The concentration wasn't there. The focus, the execution, all the things we talked about, all the things that the Celtics can control on their own accord without shots going in, without getting the right bounce, just effort, mindset, all of those things. They weren't doing it to the best degree, and it's why the game was so close. It was pretty embarrassing. So with that being said, I think Kristaps is just a good force to have in the lineup in a game that's so important, like Mondays.
Yes, I agree. Unfortunately, Monday's game will not be in TD Garden, which is what we're talking about next, because TD Garden has been a fortress, as Sam put it. The Celtics are undefeated at home this season. They're 9-0. They almost blew that against the 76ers
Did what
last
they
night as
could.
we're recording this. They tried their best. They failed, luckily. 9-0 at home. They were one of two undefeated teams at home, the other being do you want to guess? Or you want me to say it?
Is it? No, it's not Golden State. It's not Orlando, is it?
Not Orlando. Orlando is 9-2 at home.
Who is it?
Denver. It's kind of lame. It's just Denver, 9-0 at home. And then so I was looking through the standings, saying like, I wonder who has a 0 in their record, home or away. Celtics and Denver, only teams undefeated at home. Rockets 0-7 on the road, so kind of the polar opposite. No one else has like winless or lossless in either category. But yeah, Celtics TD Garden is back, right? They were pretty good last season, I think, but it wasn't like Colts undefeated. They were 32, so it was very good last year. And the year before, they were 28-13. So they've always been good at home, but 9-0 start is like red hot for them.
Yeah, most teams are pretty good at home, but the Celtics in particular, it's important for them to be good at home. Just taking a look at the standings, it's early, but they are the best team in the league. So when the playoffs do roll around, they will have home court in literally every single series. If the season ended today, it doesn't, of course. A lot of months left. But the last couple seasons in the playoffs, not a lot of great memories at home for the Celtics. They are a combined 11-2 or 11-12 at home, rather. Kind of pathetic. And these are playoff runs, by the way, that they made the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. And they nearly made the NBA Finals again last year, but they lost at home. They lost a Game 7 at home. So in order for this team to give themselves the best chance to win a title, they have to be able to win home games when it matters. I'm glad we're seeing them get off to a good start. They seem to get a great energy from the crowd, even in a game like Philly yesterday, when things looked horrible. Tatum gets ejected. These guys did feed off the energy from the home crowd. Payton Pritchard comes out in the fourth quarter. He scores 10 points. He looks great, confident. He's willing to take the risk of taking the big shot. Al Horford gets a little bit of youth back in him, puts up 20 points, 7 rebounds, has the back-to-back blocks to light the place on fire. And both sides needed that. The players needed the juice from the crowd, and the crowd needed the effort from the players. And the relationship has gotten there where there's a trust on both sides almost. So as we go on, I'd love to see the Celtics continue to win games. Good teams win at home. I mean, obviously, great teams win on the road. You have to be able to do that too. And to their credit, the Celtics have done a great job at that in the playoffs over the last 2 seasons. But things could have been much easier. I could have avoided getting sick if they could just win games at home. They had embarrassing losses at the Garden last spring. They had the Trae Young game winner. They had the James Harden game 1. They had the 3 losses in the Eastern Conference Finals to Miami. That's just not acceptable. When you're a powerhouse like the Celtics are supposed to be, and you're losing home playoff games, how are you supposed to be taken seriously? How is anyone supposed to care about the record that you put together in the regular season, where you finish getting home court, if you don't do anything with it? My favorite thing to do in the summer is to go back and watch great moments at home. I love the juice that the crowd gives players in big moments, and there really aren't that many moments. And the Celtics have been a successful playoff team despite not being able to play at home. So it's a very long-winded way of me saying good start to the season. Glad to see them being 9-0 at home, but they do have to prove it. They have a big prove-it stretch coming up here. Now, if they lose to the Pacers on Monday, their next game will be Friday at home against a loser of Milwaukee or New York. So they have one of those teams, both towards the top of the Eastern Conference, at least respectable. Milwaukee is the other big powerhouse, as is Philly. So you have another real test there. Then you have 2 home back-to-backs against both Cleveland and Orlando, who, again, are legitimate teams in the East, especially Orlando, who have won 9 in a row. So we're going to see how for real the Celtics team is at home.
Yeah. My thing is, why do they struggle at home in the playoffs? Like it doesn't make like, I know it's frustrating and I know it's easy to get mad at, but like, why do, like, for what? They're so good in the regular season at home. Is it like a pressure thing? Is it there's so much like added? Is it that other teams get more juiced and they're unexpected? So it's almost like the Sixers game you saw where they're not ready for what's about to hit them. Like, it's so weird because it's like it's a very unusual inconsistency is what I'm trying to say. I think
it's rare. You're absolutely right. Like, the best teams never lose at home. The last time the Celtics won a title in 2008, the whole story throughout the run was, oh my God, they're not losing home games. Took them 7 games to get through Atlanta, 7 to get through Cleveland. Then they come out and they lose a home game to Detroit to kick off the series, and everyone was really worried. They got it together, started winning road games, and then it was kind of smooth sailing from there on out. But I think now in the NBA altogether, the home court has at least dwindled a little bit in terms of the advantage that players get. I would be curious to see what the total win-loss for home teams is compared to, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. Don't go look for it. It's probably really hard to find. And if you find it and I'm wrong, then my point's kind of up in the air. But I don't know, man. You know what? They wear the home jerseys at home. Things will get back to normal. Even though they did that in the Miami series and then they lost the first 2 games. But it's because they weren't used to it. They didn't know how to be serious anymore.
Yeah, I mean, dating back to the I did a quick the IT era, which isn't exactly 10 years ago, but 16, 17, they were 30 and 11 at home. So like, they've always been a good home team. It's just a matter of
the playoffs that year they were good at home.
Yeah, so the only explanation I can think of is the whole like they get jumped because other teams play harder in the playoffs and they're kind of used to coasting at home. Which, again, not an excuse. It's just the only reason I can think of for the inconsistency.
I feel like they might actually press too hard.
Maybe. Also possible. It's just a weird phenomenon that's, like you said, like been consistent over the past few years.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. That's guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. It absolutely is. The app is easy to use, and you can be on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston. Kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
All right. Next thing is something you wrote for Celtics blog, so I'll let you
Yes.
lead it. Yes.
So last night was actually a good example of this. Celtics go as Jaylen Brown goes. I wrote about this for Celtics blog. Jaylen Brown, well, he's not the best player on the Celtics, seems to be maybe the driving force, the X factor, the most important player, whatever you want to call it. He is it. Jaylen Brown has a ton of responsibility on the offensive end for the Celtics. He has the freedom to try and create shots, to make reads, to set up his teammates, to make the correct play. Jaylen Brown also has maybe the largest window or range of the type of performances that he puts up. There are days that he's great, and there are days that he is not so great. I picked out a couple games to go through. I don't really know if I really want to share my screen, but I'll quickly go through and break down
Do you
what
want me
I
to share
saw.
my screen? Is it in the article or no?
Yeah, it's in the article. Yeah, I
Okay, yeah, I'll
trust you
share
to do
mine.
this, actually. You're more experienced with the sharing of the screen.
I
But I
got you.
picked out a couple games from the past week or so. I went to the Milwaukee game and I went to the Orlando Magic game. The Milwaukee game might have been Jaylen Brown's best game of the season, and the Magic game might have been the worst. So we'll start with that. In the second half of the Orlando game, we all know what happened. The Celtics had an absolute meltdown. They let up the 17-0 run. Jaylen Brown came out, had a super cool dunk at the beginning of the half, and then missed 13 straight shots. He started to get lazy. He started to settle for step-back jumpers like the one Jack just played. He started to not work as hard to break down the defense, but he still had a large bulk of the responsibility. And because of that, Orlando's defense didn't have to work hard. Orlando's defense, one of the best defenses in the league, by the way. But they didn't have to collapse. Things became harder on his teammates because there was no patience. There was no driving into traffic, drawing two, and kicking out to the open shooter, which I don't always love. But when Jaylen Brown's going to the hole and he's got his head down and he might not finish, making the extra pass isn't always the worst thing to do. He just kind of settled for a lot of threes. And it's like, there was one where he pulled up in transition. Yeah, Brown pulls up for a three with 16 seconds left on the shot clock. They're down by 12 with under 5 to play. The man had missed 8 straight threes or 8 straight shots when he pulls up for this three. Be for real. There's so much time on the shot clock to try and get a better shot than this. It just can't happen. And it just kind of seems to rub off on the rest of the team, whether it's the starters or they put him out there, they do the Jaylen and the boys lineup. He needs to be able to make things easier for the rest of his teammates. The team's just too good for it to become the Jaylen show if he doesn't have it that day. Now, this game against the Bucks, he finished with 26 points, had 8 assists with just 1 turnover. Great decision-making. He set the tone early. The first quarter, the opening play of the game, Jaylen Brown makes a quick decision. Right off the tip, he gets a pass from Drew. One dribble, goes to the basket, dunks on Brook Lopez. Now, of course, we're talking about him being patient and, looking to make the right read. Kind of had to force a dunk if you're dunking over somebody. But it was a quick, calculated decision because Milwaukee wasn't set. Here it comes on your screen right here. They weren't even ready for this. When I was watching the game, I didn't realize that they even had a chance to score. I don't even think the camera had adjusted yet. You didn't know what happened.
I wasn't even looking yet. I was at the game. I hadn't even looked down.
He follows that up by knocking down a pair of threes that are not created by him, but by the ball movement of the Celtics. Look at this. Derek White, wide open. He doesn't even have to dribble. Right in the flow of the offense. Nothing abnormal. The ball doesn't stop. It's a simple, calculated move. Here's another one. He relocates off the ball, catches, shoots. Easy look. The Celtics don't have to change the way they're moving the ball or their offense or the flow of the game. It's great. And then I think I listed this stuff higher up in the article. I don't know. But he also did a great job of making the correct reads in this game. There, of course, is maybe the best play of the season where him and Kristaps run this pick and roll, or not even pick and roll, give and go, and he draws 2 defenders and hits Kristaps for the lob. There's another play where he dishes to Kristaps on a baseline cut. Instead of going up on 2 defenders, he makes the right read. It was great. He could have very well gone up on 2 defenders. He might have done it last year. We have seen growth in Jaylen's game. And, this game, they mostly dominate the Bucks, end up winning by 3 because the fourth quarter wasn't great, but they had pretty great control of the game. Orlando was a complete meltdown. Last night against Philly, there were a lot of forced plays by Jaylen. It wasn't a perfect game, wasn't a terrible game. They ended up winning, but they should have won by a lot more.
Dude, look at Giannis on this play. Watch the slow-mo. Watch the realization that Kristaps is not in the corner anymore. He's like, I got him. Wait.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Jaylen made that happen. And shout out to Kristaps for making the right read, because a lot of times the Celtics just stand around and play 2K offense where they do only the drive and kick. We've seen a lot more drive and cut this year. Sam Hauser has benefited from it. Obviously, you've seen the Kristaps play right there. But there's just so much more that they can accomplish if Jaylen Brown is being more patient on offense. He's good enough in the post to draw 2 and make the right read. He's deadly from the mid-range. Teams have to worry about him when his back's to the basket. Take advantage of it. Don't force the shot. Don't force shots on a drive. Make the right read. Everything gets easier for your star teammates. Everything gets easier for your bench teammates. When they put you out there with that responsibility of being the best guy on the floor, you have to be willing to defer once in a while. You don't always have to do everything yourself. And Jaylen is not the worst case ever of tunnel vision. He's not. And he's been a lot better this year, and that's not what this article was about. The point is, the Celtics go as he goes.
I think the best point about Jaylen Brown is I feel like most people understood heading into the year that he might have the toughest transition with this new team, right? Because Jason Tatum is obviously a good playmaker, and he's going to get the ball, right? Because he's Jason Tatum. He's like a top 5 player in the NBA. There is nobody that the Celtics could trade for unless they make, the deal of the century that would take the ball out of Jason Tatum's hands. There's just not. Like, he'll change his shot profile maybe a little, which he has, but he's not going to not have the ball. Jaylen Brown might have the ball less. And that's a thing he's going to have to get used to. That's the thing the Celtics are going to have to get used to. But I think the important thing to do and to remember with Jaylen is you can't take away what makes him a good player. And I think the points you make about, having him drive more, having him play out of the post and get better at those reads, like getting better at those reads is important because you still want to put him in the spots where he's most comfortable scoring. But with the talent around him, he has to be good with making the right read and the pass out of it as well. And he's been a lot better at it this year. And you're starting to see the 2-man game with Kristaps translate to the rest of the roster. Even last night, as we're recording this against the Sixers, he didn't have a great game offensively, but he made a couple plays that could have been assist or hockey assist, right? He was driving, he made a couple kicks. Like, he was making a few things in there that you're like, oh, okay, there's Jaylen a little bit. And I think it's just putting him in the best position to succeed. I like the Bucks game, because he started the game getting looks off the ball, and then it sort of translated into him being hot on the ball. But I also don't think you can always just play him off the ball because he's too good for that. He's a professional scorer. That's his job. And so I think it's him finding the balance, because then, like you wrote in the Orlando game, a lot of on the ball, a lot of misses. And the problem with Jaylen is if he misses a couple, he's not going to stop, which is a good thing in terms of mindset,
Sometimes.
right? Confidence. But it's a bad thing because at some point you just got to pass and know it's not your night and find other ways to impact the game. Especially
the funny thing about the Orlando game was that was an opportunity for it to be a monster Jaylen game. He was great in the first quarter, 12 points, 14 at the half. Yeah. Then he goes 1 of 14 to finish the game.
That's
and
nuts.
The problem with that is he just didn't realize might not be my half. He shot like 3 air balls. I don't know what happened at halftime. I don't know if they all went in there and they did a thing where they put their forehead on the knob of the baseball bat and spin around. But it sure looked like it. It's just a patience thing. Jaylen has the potential to take this team to the next level. It doesn't mean he has the entire weight of the team on his shoulders, but he's given the freedom to be a creator, to be a superstar. He needs to handle the responsibility that comes with that. And again, he's done it some games. He's not done it other games, but he's certainly gotten better than he was at it last season, it feels like. So that's a positive sign for us as Celtics fans.
Agree. Absolutely. Speaking of positive signs, Payton Pritchard who everyone was ready to ship off at the start of the season. He had a few bad games. Everyone was like, trade this guy, get him off the team. Has turned it around. That Philly game that we keep referencing because it was last night as we're recording this, he was great in. He had 10 points, and they were all in the fourth quarter, and he was very important after Tatum got ejected. So he's good now. And over his last 5 games, Pritchard is averaging 7.8 points, 2.4 rebounds, 2 assists, shooting 44% from the field and 39% from deep. So the percentages are starting to turn around a little bit in 20 minutes a night. Last 10 games, you look at, scope out a little bit. He's shooting 43% from 3-point range. So he is starting to turn it around after a dreadful start from like put it that way. Last 10 games, he's shooting 43% from 3. On the season, he is still shooting 33%, I believe. Yeah. So like that is a truly awful start to the season from 3. And again, we talked about it a lot here. He was rebounding well. He was passing well. He was defending at an acceptable level. Like he was doing other things well outside of the threes. But when you get an extension, people are going to immediately look to the top skill you bring to the table. Same thing happened with Hauser. And he wasn't shooting the 3 well, so people are like, he's bad, even though it wasn't that simple. And it's still not that simple. But the shot has come around. He's still rebounding well. He's still defending at an acceptable level. And the playmaking is still there. You can see why they extended him. He's turning it around.
Yeah. You know what's funny about yesterday is it almost felt like I trusted Pritchard more than I did Jaylen Brown in the fourth quarter because he just seemed to be more under control.
Because you did.
His decision-making, whether it was the confident 3-point shots he was taking or the decisions not to go up on the drive, they all seemed very careful, very calculated, and I don't think he did anything that really hurt the team. He was very under control, and that's the best kind of Payton Pritchard because he has the skills to be a ball handler. He has the brains to make the right plays, just like Tatum does, just like Brown does, just like Porzingis does. He just doesn't have the amount of responsibility that these other guys have, but there are days where he inherits that, and he does just fine. Philly, great example. 10 points in the fourth quarter helps them win a big game. I always bring up game 2 against Brooklyn in 2022. 10 fourth quarter points for Pritchard to help them ice off a massive comeback over the Nets in a game they really could have lost. He has the stones to show up in big moments, which is why he's so valuable to the Celtics. He gets this extension. They're going to have him around for a while. I'm glad to see he's getting opportunity. I'm glad to see he's willing to step up in the fourth quarter. And I'm excited to see how he can continue to improve this year because he has the potential to be a great sixth man, the traditional type of sixth man where he can cook, he can create, he can handle the ball, and they can trust him. He's not wild. He's almost never out of control. And he has the ability to knock down these long-range threes that help to stretch out the defense even further than they normally would have to be out on the perimeter.
Agree. And a couple of the ones he made against the Sixers last night as we're recording this were deep. Like one of them was the same equivalent of that Jaylen pull up in transition. He just pulled it and it went in, so everyone was happy. But like, I was fine with the shot because in that moment I'm like, yeah, Pritchard made the last one.
He just made one.
That
yeah,
guy. Exactly.
He didn't miss 8 in a row before that.
that is a good what's it called?
Read the room.
Masters. Yeah.
Well, this team is just too good not to read the room. Like,
I know.
If you don't have it, Drew Holiday might have it. Tatum might have it. Porzingis, when he's healthy, might have it. Al Horford, who had 20 points, might have it. There's no need for anybody on this team to ever have to force. Derek White, who I didn't even mention, was great against Philly. He might be the second most reliable guy behind Tatum.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
don't need to convince you.
Yeah, I love Derek White. Who could have thought that? No, yeah, Pritchard's been great. It's been nice to see him turn it around a little bit. He never deserved the trade him narrative. It was too early in the season one.
Well, the problem is he just makes enough money to be the only guy that could maybe be traded for anything of minimum value. So he's going to be put in the rumors. You can't get anything for Brissett or Banton or Lamar Stevens or Svi or any of the guys they brought in this summer, really.
Yeah. My thing is, though, with Payton and Sam, too, like, I was never worried that they weren't going to shoot well. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're too good of 3-point shooters for them to struggle for an entire season from 3. Like, nothing they've done in their career. I was more worried
about Pritchard, I think.
I understand why, because the shots he gets, but, like, nothing we've seen throughout their careers so far would lead to the belief that they will shoot 33% from 3 this season, even if it dips to like 38. Like both of them, I think, have shot 40. Yeah, they've been money. Like actually, Pritchard shot 36% last season, but I in my opinion that was an outlier because it was a complete
So
different.
inconsistent the
Yeah.
opportunities he was getting.
Anyways, let's go to the next thing, which is Clyde Frazier. You put this on the sheet as well, so I don't know the full context, but I understand the point of it.
Sure.
So
I was perusing through Reddit last night, as you might have seen on Twitter. We'll get to that later. So on the Knicks broadcast, Breen and Clyde Frazier were up in Toronto. And I believe they initially asked Clyde which city treats him the best. But when he was asked which city is the least kind to him, he simply replied Boston and laughed. So this is obviously a hey, those people are racist thing. And first and foremost, if you are racist, stop or like just don't be racist towards players that come into the arena. There's nothing I hate more than going online, Twitter, Reddit, whatever, and seeing people being able to make fun of Boston as a racist city, especially today. I don't know. It's just I've always hated when people say this. I don't really like generalizations in general, but I don't know. It gets under my skin. I think it makes anybody that's a Celtics fan look a little bit bad when some of the fan base is like that. And it's even worse when it becomes like a league-wide narrative. It hurts players that might want to come here. You have guys like LeBron going out and saying that they're racist here. It's just a terrible look. And I don't know. Just knock it off. But also not every jeering or booing or any kind of disapproval from the home fans towards an opposing player is racist. Like LeBron, I'm sure he's heard something from people here, but like he's also been one of the biggest rivals. Of course, they're going to be terrible to him and mean and boo him. Doesn't mean they should wish terrible things on him or say the things that get said. I don't know.
see, I think I wonder how much of what he was saying was that versus just they hated him. I will say when Clyde Frazier played, Boston was racist. It was, and it still is to a degree this day.
A lot of places.
I'm not going to disagree. A lot of places are.
A lot of
But
places at that
I
time
agree.
of
Yeah.
history.
Boston does have a history of it. And so I understand why players say that because I mean, I'm not going to speak for them, but they've probably dealt with that. They've almost certainly dealt with that in the city. And it has the history and it probably happens here more than other cities. I think it's gotten better. Again, I can't speak for it, but yeah, there's no place for it. And especially somebody who played then, you understand why Clyde said it.
I did see replies adding context to it. While I do kind of think he was implying this during Clyde's career, the Knicks and Celtics did have a back and forth, a rivalry. So of course he's not going to be loved. Isaiah Thomas got booed on the Jumbotron when he was a part of KG's retirement ceremony. I don't think it was because of what he looks like. I think it was because he was a part of those Pistons teams that were a colossal pain in the ass for Bird Celtics and also played kind of dirty. There's just context to everything. Now, again, don't use race as a way to down somebody or boo them or say wrong things. Just give them the normal treatment.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go to the emails here. I think we have a few to go over. I don't think I missed anything. I thought I missed a topic on the sheet for a sec, but let's over to the emails. I've cleaned up the email a little bit, so we don't have all the former ones in the feed when we look over it. I like archived all the old ones, so it looks a little better. So I'm not sharing people's information. But let's go over the emails. We have 3 today. First one from Ian Ed Sod, I think is that am I reading that we think correctly? Yeah, Ian S. Yeah, Ian Ed Sod. So Ian, IST update thoughts. This was a couple days ago, but we haven't recorded since then, obviously. Ian says, "What's popping, guys? I have been pleasantly surprised with the IST after a bit of hate that came from other sports media and some players. I think it really does put some fire under the players, especially on teams that kind of coast through the middle of the season. Obviously, it has some necessary improvements, and from listening and thinking, I have a pair of ideas or comments, one for the incentives to play hard and not be, quote, actively concerned on injuries, and other for tiebreakers. Idea 1, players seem to be into it, so maybe the cash prize is enough, but there have been some worries about potential star injuries going hard in the IST for something that doesn't matter. What if we make it like how the MLB All-Star Game does, a little bonus for the winning teams that isn't just a straight playoff burst, as some people have thought up? Make it a tiebreaker bonus. If you make the knockout round, your team gets a 0.25 win advantage, semi 0.5 win advantage, second place 0.5, and the winner gets an additional win for the standings purposes for playoff bids. It's all based on win percentage, and winning the IST actually holds some weight in the real playoffs, but isn't too big a change. I think the way it was phrased is a little awkward, like the 0.5, 0.25 is a little awkward, but I understand the concept and I don't hate it. I could see why teams would fight for it.
Well, I think at the very least, you should get like a free win if you win the tournament, because you play 83 games and you have to win the last game to be the tournament winner. So you should be able to erase one of your losses and add an extra win to your win total for the season.
Yeah.
I do think there is value in making it a long run bonus too, like he lays out here. I just don't know if every single team would benefit from that. I think it might be more towards the winner. But I think it's a good idea. I think there is definitely more that they can do with the incentivizing this, even though you've seen players want to win if there's a big shiny trophy there.
This is true. I will say, like this list, if you win the tournament, you get an extra win. Like teams like the Kings, the Pacers, the Pelicans, like they'd fight for that shit. The Celtics, even if the Celtics want to be first place in the East over the Bucks or the Sixers, like they'll fight for it. They want that extra win. So I don't hate that idea. That's something I haven't seen. So shout out to Ian.
What if the winner of the in-season tournament got to pick their playoff opponent in the first round? I know there's been talk of this with the new play-in tournament and the first seed not knowing who they're going to play and all that. What if you're like the Pacers and you're like, well, I really would like to not have to play, let's say, Philly in the first round?
I think you should. I don't hate the idea. Only hiccups. One, would you want to? Because as much as it's that, like, you pick the Heat to play in the first round, you're losing.
Well, you don't pick the Heat.
I know, but like if you pick
that's the whole point.
If you pick a team, they're gonna have that extra juice, and do you want to give it to them? And I think you would have to quantify it with, like, if the Pacers win and they make the playoffs as the 8th seed or the 7th seed, right? Then they picked what they can't. They shouldn't be allowed to pick to play the 8th seed because that screws the 1 seed who just fought the whole regular season. And also, if the Pacers win the in-season tournament and then don't make the playoffs, sucks. But like, so I like the concept. I just think it needs some like qualifications in it. So like,
all right, what's the B?
Tiebreaker idea. IST round robin tiebreaker with 2 games each in round robin. Yep, I think we talked about this last time. Obviously, there's better records that are less likely to be sides. Obviously, there is better records that are less likely to be tied, than head-to-head tiebreaker. Quote, strength of victories, where wins against better teams in the tournament carry more weight, be it regular season record at the time or IST-specific record. And obviously, point differential. Not sure which order, but more options are better. Sorry about the longer email. It's my first engagement, but I've started to enjoy your work and wanted to weigh in. Don't apologize. Shout out Ian, plus popcorn, true. Thank you, Ian. Thank you.
We didn't put Ian on the drawing. Next time, he'll be in no matter what.
We didn't. Yes, Ian will be in. Sorry, Ian.
I didn't realize that. My bad.
We don't read the emails before we go, so that's us.
Next time he's on, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. I'll put it on the sheet now. But yeah, I mean, I like the extra tiebreakers. I think there do need to be new tiebreakers or at least more games so the tiebreakers don't matter as much, if that makes sense. So
I just think they should do more games. People have enjoyed this product for the most part. Some old heads are kind of bitter about it, which I can respect. But at the same time, I've enjoyed it. And I think if you made the group stage double the games, you would have more wiggle room for different records to emerge instead of a bunch of teams just being 3-1. You'd have 8-0, 7-1, 6-2, etc., all kind of battling to move on instead of so much less variation in the win-loss totals.
I agree. All right. Next email from DJ Cov24. What's poppin', gents? This is from Josh. What's poppin'? Shit, we got to put him on too.
He's in too. My bad.
Okay. No. We don't read the emails.
I looked everywhere except the emails. I looked in the CLNS comments. I looked in our comments from like 3 different videos. I'm so sorry, guys. You guys will be in the next drawing. We also need to. I'll do it. You could just read.
Oh, thank you. What's poppin', gents? My first email, so my topics are random Celtics things I've thought over the years. So we'll do quick reactions to these. I'm also a newer listener, so if you've covered the topics, feel free to go light on the response. First, does Jaylen Brown have small hands? Is this the thing? He'll have to go a ways to find a bigger JB fan than myself. I was even foolish to adamantly say that if they had to trade Jays, it should be Tatum. I'm no longer on that train, but I still do love JB. It seems like Jaylen came into the league. He's had trouble gripping the ball through a dunk and always, always loses the ball too easily.
Point.
The ball would literally just fall out of his hand on his way to dunk it. Random thought number one. Let's see. Can I find hand size?
I don't know if they have that listed, but I do remember when Jaylen was a rookie or a second-year player, there were a bunch of times where he went up to dunk on somebody or just throw down a monster dunk and he would hit the back of the rim. He definitely has gotten better at it throughout the seasons. Of course, he's become a major poster dunker. He's had some big ones so far this season, but early on, he definitely missed some big slams, enough to where they were talking about on major sports radio shows. So I actually remember that. I don't know if they actually list the hand size, but that is a hilarious question.
They do, but it is at so he was I'm trying to figure out which draft he would have been in.
2016.
So I would search by 15 and 16 for the combine.
Okay.
Was he the same draft as Willie Cauley-Stein?
No.
Devin Booker. So he was
No.
the year before.
He was the year after.
Devin Booker. Okay. They still don't have him. I think because Jaylen Brown probably didn't do the combine because he was such a high pick that he was just like, nah. But they do have hand width, but it's just unfortunately no. I wonder if
Ask
they
him
have
about
it
that next time. Be like,
yeah.
Go in the locker room and do the hand size test to every single one of your teammates and tell me how many outcomes you win.
That's a good point, though. I mean, I never really thought of that. Maybe like it would make some sense, I suppose, if that is why he doesn't grip the ball well. But anyways, next thought from DJ. Secondly, you'll have to go a ways to find a bigger Pritchard fan as well. I know he's short, and if he isn't hitting shots, he's hard to defend, wanting to get him minutes, but he's feisty as hell. And I've always been a fan, been a diehard Celtics fan my whole life. My grandmother was a ridiculously huge fan, and through her, I've got some really cool memorabilia, including the price of my collection, a handwritten letter from Havlicek. That's sick.
Ooh.
I'll be more current with future emails, but I want to throw a couple random things out with my first. Enjoy the show. You guys know ball and I like the overall vibes you guys have together. Rat list the fake fans who sit on their phones at games and drive up the prices for real fans. Josh.
It's actually big facts. I saw a post about Celtics tickets today on Reddit. Somebody
Mm.
was like, is it normal to pay $750 for, I think it was 300 corner section tickets? And I was like, wow, that's a lot of money to go sit in the balcony.
There's
I think
far
we
too many
paid less to go to these games in Vegas.
Yeah, there's far too many fans in their suits from work still that don't give a shit about the game at the games. It's whack.
More fights need to happen at games.
What a take.
Well, seriously, think about it. If you have like a risk of crime, like nobody's paying to go like get their ass.
True. This is true. It's true. Shout out Josh. You and Ian will be on you'll be on the wheel next week. Don't worry. Or next pod, I mean. From RJ, the OG. Let's pop and call it a quote learning experience. This was after the Sixers game. Evening, guys. That was something. I'll watch the game later tonight, but things I'll take away as positives. C's learned how to win without Tatum, posting a +8 in the fourth quarter. Pritchard has no fear of closing out a game. Neither does Derek White. Al Horford still has game. Best of all, it was Celtics' 15th win of the year. So say it with me. Never any doubt. On to the knockout round. Be well, RJ.
Tons of doubt.
Positive email.
I was certain they would lose.
Yeah.
I was certain they were going to lose from like the first quarter. Once I saw they were shooting 70%, I was like, oh, they don't have a prayer. They're going to come back down to earth.
Yeah.
And they did. They just managed to gut it out. So good on them. Because I think we talked about this on the video yesterday, but
they lose that.
They probably wouldn't have won this last year.
No, not at all. They definitely lose that last year. But thank you, RJ. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Josh. Sorry, I got confused because I almost called you DJ because your email. But let's get into the NBA part of the show. Do our Podly NBA look around, see what's going on around the league, check out win streaks, see who's losing, see who's winning. And I haven't even pulled the standings up yet, and I know the Pistons are losing because the Pistons have not won in November, and it's December.
They have lost 16 straight games.
They're next level bad.
As somebody that picked the Pistons before the season, my bad. They're 2-17. In my defense, they started the season 2-1. I was excited. I was like, Pistons might be back.
They should sue you for
and they went on to lose 16 straight. So it's very, very bad from the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't really tell you who the best player in this draft class is, which is even worse for the Pistons. It is also December, even though I think we knew about Wemby at this time last year and also Scoot.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks, man.
I know Ron Holland.
They have not won a playoff game since 2008.
Yeah.
Prayer.
I know Ron Holland is very good. Know a lot of people like him. Alexander Sarr, who's playing in France, is very popular right now.
There's one guy that looks like a white Michael Porter Jr.
I don't know who that is. Maybe it's Alexander Sarr. I know Isaiah Collier, Stephon Castle, Jacoby Walter. I know there's Nikola Topic.
That's the one that looks like Michael Porter Jr.
Another Nikola. Yeah. So there's a lot of players that could go number one, but there is no clear Wemby in the draft. I'll put it that way. But I recognize some of these names. Bobby Clintman. I recognize that name only because back in the day when we went far out in 2K drafts, they couldn't use his last name because it like broke their language filter or something.
What is it?
Clintman. I don't know why. Like it's just maybe it's too close to other words, but 2K didn't
Charlotte
like it.
made jerseys of it, and those made it into the game. So
True.
Yeah.
That they did. Spurs are trying to fight the Pistons. They've lost 14 straight, but no one's talking about them because they have Wemby, but also because
Pop's losing stink of telling them not to boo Kawhi Leonard. So
it's true.
It's loser behavior. Like you should absolutely let a former player have it after they kind of force their way out of town. Absolutely.
Yes.
Grizzlies back 2 wins in a row. They should tank.
Do you know why? Do you know who they signed?
Jaylen Noel.
Jaylen Noel dropped 19 off the bench last game. Vince Williams also had 18 points and 9 rebounds. If that was the Celtics, mad as fuck. He did it against the Celtics.
I mean, the Celtics got their fair share of, hey, that shouldn't have happened performances against Philly. So I think, we all got our dose of that.
Yep. The Warriors still struggling. They won their last game, but they're 9-10 below 500. Clippers
3-7 in their last 10. Very bad.
Not good. Clippers also bad. Blazers 2 in a row, 2 wins.
3-7 in their last
10. Yeah. Mavericks 5-5. They're struggling a little bit. Magic have won 9 in a row. Celtics game not a fluke. As much as it was frustrating, like they're just good. Like they're just a good basketball team now.
They were due for a leap. We didn't know it was going to be this big of a leap. They have the best record in their last 10 games with obviously a 9-1 stretch. Boston and Milwaukee both 8-2 at the top of the East. Philly 4-6. Slipping a bit. That's what happens when your players get sick. Knicks 7-3 heading into that clash with the Bucks in the in-season tournament. So that'll be something nice to look out for. The top 6 of the East kind of shaping out how everybody thought, except Orlando being there instead of Cleveland. You have Miami at 6. Then the Pacers are at 7. They've lost 2 straight 5-5 in their last 10 heading into the in-season tournament quarterfinal against the Celtics. Cleveland 10-9. Haven't really been able to figure too much out. Hawks right at 500, right where they should be by tradition. Then the rest, who cares? Bulls still bad.
Yeah, Bulls really bad.
West is weird because no one said Minnesota at the top except RJ. Denver has struggled without Murray, who came back and then kind of hurt his ankle again. I don't remember if he played last night against Phoenix.
I don't think so.
But he had that hamstring thing the whole month, comes back for 1 game, plays okay. They beat Houston, and then he's out again with an ankle sprain. Can't catch a break. Yeah. He's in a big year for his contract because he's due for that Jaylen extension in the summer. And he can't get it unless he makes an all-star team. Or an all-NBA team, rather. Sorry.
It's weird,
he hasn't done either.
We were talking about early all-star questions. Selections at the game last night. Do the Magic get 2 all-stars?
Paulo and Mo Wagner?
Well, his brother, Franz. Close enough.
Maybe.
I think they could. Well, our argument is, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but by ripping off 12 off the dome, this is what we were doing. In the East,
Giannis.
Celtics, Giannis, Dame, they get 2. Embiid, Maxey, they're going to get 2, right? 1 from the Heat, Tyrese Halliburton from the Pacers. You're going to assume Donovan Mitchell gets in. That's 7 right there.
And you can say Tatum.
Tatum. Jalen Brunson's going to make it from the Knicks. And then you'd have to imagine the Celtics get a second in Kristaps or Jalen.
They might get 3 if Kristaps is healthy for long enough.
Exactly. That leaves 2 spots left. Pistons, Wizards, Bulls, Hornets don't deserve it. That leaves 2 spots
Jordan
for
Poole.
Another Celtic or Trae Young, Mikal Bridges, Scotty Barnes. So
Trae Young is the only one with the star power to get in out of those three, I think, to like have enough votes in the fan category. Plus, they have that weird positional like backcourt, front court thing where
the
Trae
only
Young might get enough
reason,
votes.
the only thing is votes from the fans only count for the starters, and the coaches pick the bench. So that's why I think Scotty Barnes could have a chance to get that spot because of his like breakout, and so maybe coaches were like, okay, yeah, Scotty's better now. But I
The
think
fans
like
love Scotty.
yeah, but my point is there is so many bad teams in the East this year and so many top end teams that like I think the Magic could get both in. Like I don't know. I don't like I don't know if it's likely, but I think they have a chance to get Paolo and Franz. They're really good. Like they
Yeah.
So
No, I mean,
know.
listen, we're gonna see Orlando twice
Mm.
here in the next like couple weeks, so we'll get
The
a little
West
bit more of a
is-
handle on that one.
The West is a shit show. Like all stars in the West are going to be weird as hell because all the teams that you'd want to pick two from kind of stink, right? Like Jamal Murray, is he's going to be healthy enough to get in? Maybe. Like Timberwolves, you probably give Rudy and Anthony Edwards, but like two from the Timberwolves, we'll say.
I think Murray's gonna get in because everybody
Okay.
feels like they owe him because he hasn't been an All-Star yet.
Sure.
That was
So
the
if he
big
plays
narrative
up-
over the summer is he's gonna get his first All-Star game, but his numbers are down. He's only averaging like 16 points a game. His shooting numbers aren't that great. Like Jamal Murray, not the best year for him to be needing like big time accolades to get paid.
No. He's shooting well, but like let's say it's two from the Timberwolves, two from the Nuggets, Shea, Luka, probably Kyrie, just because. We'll say one from the
LeBron.
Kings.
Big
LeBron's
circle jerk
going
for
to get
LeBron.
in.
Did we
Steph
do
is
KD
going.
yet?
Steph's going to get in. KD's going to get it. Like there's not a
Booker.
lot of spots out west because like Curry, LeBron, KD, all locks. AD's probably a lock low key. Like as much
Ja.
as you don't want to say it. Imagine. So that's four right
At
there
Zion.
from teams that are close to 500 or worse. And that leaves what? 8 spots for two Timberwolves, maybe 2 Nuggets,
Should we do
Shea,
Fox?
Luka, Fox, right?
Sabonis.
Like that would be it right there. And then that leaves Sabonis not getting in, Kyrie not getting in, Jamal
Kyrie
Murray
probably
not
shouldn't
getting
get
in. Chet Holmgren should have a shot to get in this year.
Chet
The
should
Thunder are
have a
good.
shout.
He's averaging 18, 8, and 2.5, and
Chet Rookie of the
two
Year
blocks a
better. It's
night.
got to be like rolling
Yeah.
in mud right now, all happy like
Yeah,
a
dude.
pig.
And then, as crazy as it is, Wembanyama could get in based on the vote alone. Like he's that popular, like genuinely.
That's true.
And the crazy part is, I was saying this: if all of France votes for Wembanyama, you know how they have to fill out the ballot and like pick 5 players. Do you think Rudy gets the he's French, I'll throw him on the ballot too bump from Wemby? Genuinely.
Well,
He
like
deserves
as
to be an
much as
all-star
I
in my
like to
opinion,
call Gobert like a role player, he's making a major impact for the Timberwolves this season. So he might get some love from voters, or at least the people around the league that are actually involved
yeah,
that get to add him in. So he might get in regardless.
I think
I
so
don't know.
too.
I hate the All-Star game, man.
Well, we'll stop talking about it and we'll talk about Kevin Durant instead. Kevin Durant just passed Moses Malone for 10th all time on the NBA scoring list.
Congratulations.
This is just kind of like a news thing. Are we talking about it? Like, do we want to talk
No.
more about it? Just
I thought we should mention it.
Yeah,
Big day for him
Kevin
after
Durant.
Adidas told him he was about to retire.
That was great tweet,
Yeah.
funny tweet. But
They
yeah,
deleted it.
I know.
No
Lame.
backbone from
You
Adidas.
can't. Yeah.
I may actually light all of the Adidas products I own on fire, even though I like Adidas.
Didn't you buy Dame sneakers for really cheap?
Yeah, they were only $70.
Respect.
Nimi was wearing one of the pairs I have yesterday.
Oh,
Don't
really?
worry about it. Same shoes.
There you go. All right. Next thing then in that case is the Lakers are bad. Shocker. This was where'd you
Maybe
pull
not
this
bad, but
Reddit?
mid.
Is this Reddit? Where'd you get this? Like
This is
quote
from The
from?
Athletic, Jovan Buha.
Mhm.
Who
He
talked
said,
to LeBron. LeBron, very quick as always to throw his teammates under the bus. Said a lot didn't change after they got whomped by the Sixers last week. But then he was like, I have no idea what we are. How? We don't have a group yet. I don't know what some of us individually are. But as far as a team, we don't have our group yet. I don't know. We haven't logged enough minutes. All these excuses getting thrown out. But then he's like, hey, credit to us. We're 11-9, literally not ever having our same group. That's pretty impressive. I think what's impressive is that he found a way to completely trash the team, but also pat himself on the back. Be like, hey, look, almost competitive.
yeah.
You were more in on the Lakers than I was this year. They kind of fell off a little bit last year in the regular season. They obviously made it to Western Conference Finals, beating Golden State, beating Memphis. But It just doesn't feel like they're set up for sustained success. Reeves hasn't been as good as they probably hoped he'd be. LeBron continues to age, even though he's still effective. He's not LeBron anymore. Anthony Davis has had like a little bit of a fallback. His averages over the first, 10 games haven't been that impressive. He hasn't put up a bunch of points. A lot of people talking bad about him. Personally, I'm always happy to see the Lakers do poorly. They went 4-0 in the Mickey Mouse group that they had in the in-season tournament, so they'll be playing in the quarterfinals, maybe going to Vegas. But yeah, they're not looking so hot. Who could have told you that?
Sorry, I just got confused. So you know how Basketball Reference has the jerseys on the top right?
Yes.
They have LeBron's St. Vincent St. Mary jersey, like with his NBA jersey.
Why?
I don't know. It just confused the fuck out of me. Like, who the fuck is this? Like, what is this? And I went to see, like, oh, did they add college jerseys? Did they add like pre everything else? No. Like they have Kobe's Lower Merion. Do they have Dwight Howard's like fucking did they just do it for super cool players? Is that like what? Yeah, they just did it for like.
They have Mike. They have him at North Carolina.
I don't know. Let's see. Do they have Michael Jordan's North Carolina? They do. They have his high school and his college.
Why do they do that? That makes me upset, actually.
And they have his Team USA jerseys for Michael Jordan.
That makes me really upset.
I don't get it. I don't know why they're doing that. Yeah, this is very weird.
One guy that's definitely going to have his Michigan jersey up on Basketball Reference by the time he's done because of his legendary career is Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole, who Washington Wizards fans are none too pleased with. Now, if you follow me on Twitter or Jack retweeted it last night, they hate him. I saw a post on Reddit. I kind of poke around in the Wizards community from time to time just because I think they're kind of funny people. This post was titled, "Get Jordan Poole Off My TV." I know if we're going to have any hope of trading him, he has to play so we can rehab his image. But we have to balance that against the real harm that playing him is doing to this team. On defense, we're playing 4-on-5 when he's out there. And on offense, it's not any better. Metrics like VORP and win shares per 48 minutes have him as literally the worst player in the league this year. Quit fucking moving the sheet. I'm trying to read.
I'm typing. It's all right.
You could, without hyperbole, say he's been both the worst offensive and defensive players this year. At what point do we just bench him and accept that we'll have to eat the rest of his contract? Halfway through the season, we all expected a tanking season, but we didn't expect a single player bringing everyone else down, possibly stunting our players' growth and just being an overall embarrassment. Go Wiz.
Jordan Poole's last, let's see, how many games? Last game, 14 points on 3 of 12 shooting, 0 of 5 from 3, 19 points on 5 of 12, 4-7, not terrible. 10 points on 3 of 9, 0 of 2, 26 points on 9 of 20, 1 of 6. Jordan Poole has shot better than 33% from 3 4 times this year. And he has shot above 33% the same amount of times as he has shot 0%.
He just has to be like a top 10 like bad attitude guy in the NBA, or maybe in all of sports, really, because he does have a core of teammates that he can try and improve and help grow, like this Redditor said in their post.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just not doing that. He's just doing everything for himself. He's taking a bunch of shots. You've seen the highlights of him doing spin moves just to chuck the ball up and slam it off the glass from 3.
Yeah.
He really could be trying to get in a position where he's adjusting to being the guy and setting up his teammates. Kind of what we talked about with Jaylen earlier in the show, where he's making reads and giving guys open looks. He's just not doing that. Like, I do kind of feel for Wizards fans, not that they really expected him to be the best player ever, but you did expect him to be a piece that you might be able to grow and build your team around. Instead, they can't wait to trade this guy, and nobody would even want to trade for him.
Zach LaVine for Poole, who says no.
The salary cap rules.
If you could do it straight up, who says no?
Probably Chicago.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, Poole is something special, man. It's. I'm sorry, Wizards fans. Going from Beal to Poole is tough, but at least they're.
The Wizards just need to make new jerseys.
Yeah.
If they want to turn this around, they got to ditch the stripes. They got to go a solid color.
If Sam is saying
have
make
fun
new
with it.
jerseys, that means the organization's in the trash.
Yeah.
If Sam is rooting for Nike to make new jerseys, you know the organization is dead.
Just don't use the ones you used for the city jerseys. Like, do something cool. Lean into the red. It's a cool color. You can do some great stuff. Put some stars on the side.
I wouldn't even hate it if they went back to like the old blue and gold. Those were cool.
I think those are ugly, but
all right, I'll go fuck myself.
I could see them going back to it. They could do something with it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next thing we have is Terrence Ross, Celtics killer, retires officially. On his podcast, he said he's retiring from the NBA, not going to play anymore. Earlier in the year, I heard a clip of him on Twitch because he streams. Somebody asked him like, "Hey, this person's looking for a team," and he's just like, "I'm good. Like, bro, I had my time in the league. I loved it. It was great. I enjoyed it. But now I got my family. I got my house. I got my video games. I can stream. I'm chilling. Like,
He doesn't
I'm
have to do
happy.
anything.
No, he's chilling. And yeah, I just thought it was like a fun perspective of like, yeah, I'd love to be in the league. Cause like, I think all of us think of like, yeah, these guys always want to get back in the league. And Terrence Ross is like, I enjoyed it. I made my money. Now I'm just fucking chilling. And I just thought it was a fun perspective to hear.
Yeah, and you can get fat.
Terrence Ross is a cool dude too. Like, he's a funny guy. Did you saw the Jordan Poole thing he did, right? Or he said,
No.
someone, or no, it was Kai Jones thing. Sorry. The Kai Jones thing. I assume you saw.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Somebody commented, Terrence Ross commented on Instagram, is Kai Jones, mentally okay? And Kai Jones commented, I'm the best there ever was or has been, or I'm the greatest of all time.
No.
And he goes, so no.
Yeah.
Terrence Ross is just a funny guy. All right. Next thing we have, I don't want to spend much time on this, but I wanted to put on the sheet. Jake Fisher, friend of the pod, reported that Miles Bridges is likely not going to be with the Hornets again next year.
Report.
Oh yeah, has someone come out against it or something?
Yeah, Miles Bridges.
Oh,
he replied with a question mark.
Well, I just wanted to say, I hope he's on the Prison League team next year instead. That's the only context I don't want to talk about is on court.
Should there be an expansion Prison League team in the NBA?
No,
they play for free. But they do still get to hoop.
No, he should just be in prison. That's all I wanted to say. I don't care about Miles Bridges. I don't care about the impact. I don't care about, who could get him. No one should. He should be in prison. It's like there's no line to be had here. It is like we talked about this earlier in the season.
Him and Adam Silver should be cellmates.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a question here. Like, I don't understand why this whole like, did this like the first charge.
The justice system works. Like, he has to go through the trial, I think. I don't know. I don't know the details. So I could be wrong.
Yes, on the second one, but the first one he pleaded no contest. So he just pleaded like, he didn't plead guilty. No, he just pleaded like, get it over with. So you fucking did it then. Like, brother, what are we doing?
Yeah, but that's why he's not in jail with the second one, because they just haven't completed the trial yet.
I know.
What I understand.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck this guy.
If I'm wrong, correct me, and I'll be like, okay.
Whatever. Fuck this guy. Get him out of the league. That's all I had.
I'm not
last thing we have. I know.
I
know. Legal process wise. Last thing you put it on the sheet. Just make fun of Kyrie.
Yeah. Grizzlies are back. 2 wins in a row. One of them against the Luka Doncic-less Mavs as he welcomed his child to the world. So congratulations, Luka.
Congrats, Luka.
Maybe you'll share with him like you maybe don't share with your teammates. But as he like racks up a ton of assists. But he sits on the ball a long time is my point. But anyways. No Luka means Kyrie had the keys and he balled out. 10, 5, and 5 on 4 of 13 as the Mavericks get stomped by the Memphis Grizzlies. Hate to see this. It really hurts me. Somebody like Kyrie, really great guy. Yeah, terrible game from him. It's really all I got.
He stinks.
I don't have too much, but
it's fine.
I don't even have like his stats in front of me for the season, but I haven't heard a ton about Kyrie, so that probably means he's just been fine. He hasn't been bad. He hasn't been good. Because if he was bad, I would have heard about it. Like I saw this. Yeah.
Kyrie this season is averaging. I'll just pull it up quick. He's averaging 24 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists on 46-37 shooting. So he's
been fine. He's been up to standard.
He's been good. All right. We can let's run to the rat list now. Do you want to start here?
Why don't you start? Because I really, off the top of my head, don't have that much stuff.
All right. I will start then. And I'll start with, I said at the top of the show, I overslept, made Sam wait. I hand up my bad. I titled the room Rat Jack Edition. I don't even know if Sam saw it, but that is the title of the room.
I did see it.
And I'll follow it up with Ratless, this is very specific, so I'm going to pull up Google Earth to explain. Ratless, the ramp coming out of the Quincy Adams garage at the train station. So this ramp, it's easy for me usually because I am coming home late at night. So it's very late and there's not a lot of people like just going in and out. However, if you take a look here on Google Earth, I won't let me put it in the garage, but I can just show the image here. I was trying to put a little person down.
Very Mickey Mouse map doing by Google Earth. I'll take the rat down. Oh,
I got it. I can't.
Doing it to the fullest extent and going into the parking lots and garages because people would love to know what it looks like Jack does. Shame on them.
Let me see if I can get a little bit of a. Okay, you can get. You can't really get the fucking view. Yeah, Ratless to fucking Google Earth for fucking dicking me around here. But anyways, so this is the garage. You can see it here as we go in. It's right here. This is the exit ramp. Right here. I come along here. However, this wall is big enough to where I can't see people speeding around this bend. Like I can't see them coming until it is too late for me to see them coming. So oftentimes you get about here-ish, and as you can see, narrows into a 2-lane pretty fucking quick. Yeah. These people have to go in this lane to get to where they're going and stay on this side. So it's not like they can like stay in this right lane for long and give me space. They're speeding along, not giving me room to enter. And again, it's 1 a.m. by the time I leave here, 1:30 sometimes. So I'm like fine, and there's usually nobody. But on nights when like if I just go to a game and come home at a normal time, I end up stopping here, and they'll like honk at me because they think I'm in the way. Like it's impossible to get out of, and it's very frustrating because you can't see anything until it's too late. So Ratless,
you know what's remarkable is you can see the very complicated roadways that we have here in the States. They are very wide. I want to know how our roadways are such a shit show compared to somewhere where like Ireland, where their roads are literally like a big fucking bike path. Like if you have been, we were on a coach bus. The driver was out there whipping us around on bike paths, and he was doing just fine. There were no problems. The answer is population, but it's just remarkable that everything we have here is such a disaster. So Rat List is succumbing to the desires to eat sweets. On Thursday night, Jack and I participated in a gingerbread house making night. Say what you will. But we did build the voted top one along with Kaylin, my girlfriend. We were a team of 3, and we put it together. It was an absolute hoss of a gingerbread house. And to make the gingerbread house, we had a ton of sweets, candy, Oreos, all of it. And there it is. There's the winning design. We had the gingerbread house chimney, to which about 1 billion Oreos perished as Jack cut them, and we worked to build it. We have the gingerbread man vomiting. Ratless, the little dots there the candies, because they came in a bag all mixed together, and I had to separate all the blue ones.
Yeah, it was
terrible.
But
bad. Ate a bunch of sweets, had a bunch of the cookies and cream flavored Hershey bars. Sucker for those. But overall, fun night. It was great to have Jack there. And we got to flex and build with candy.
Don't worry about it. So we also played Taboo. And Sam just goes, Jordan Poole, Wizards. And everyone just goes, what the fuck?
Because the word was wizard.
Yeah. Henry texted me with the rat list of his own.
Okay.
Henry, I get a text during the show. He goes, rat list, bikers who take up the road. And I agree. Tank.
True.
That's another tank moment.
You don't need a tank. You have your car. It's the same effect. You're not going to lose the one-on-one against a bike.
Let me rephrase. It needs to be legalized because I don't want to go away for a fucking homicide charge.
Bucket list is to like clothesline somebody out the window of a car, but you'd like break your arm off. But I've always wanted to do it.
Would be kind of fun. Yeah, that would
be the thing about bikers, it's tough because sometimes there really isn't a place for them. Like, the little like breakdown or bike lane is literally like 3 inches wide on the side of the street sometimes.
at least stay to the side. Like, don't take up the whole road. Like,
Yeah,
try to
no. You
stay-
should not be in a travel
Yeah.
lane. You should be on the
Yeah.
side and people can veer around you. As a runner, I
I-
suffer the same fate sometimes where you just
Well,
don't really have a lot of room.
I was gonna say, as a runner, I was just gonna say put the bikes on the sidewalk, but I guess that wouldn't be too good for the runners. So maybe.
Well, you
not.
can adjust, so you can move. As a
Yeah.
pedestrian, you have the ultimate dexterity and freedom to move around.
Yeah,
Which is why I don't understand like pedestrians that kind of don't like keep cars in mind. Like if you're walking and there's a car trying to drive out onto the main road, you don't go around the back, you go in front of it. Like, no, go around the
Yeah.
back. You can move. They can't.
Yeah, cars can't exactly just go into the sidewalk and get out of the way. Speaking of cars, ratless LED headlights. You just don't need them.
This has been a rat list before, but I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more. I
Like,
put it on there. Why
they're
does
not
every
necessary.
car need LED headlights?
They don't.
They
don't.
look like
You
a
don't.
cop. It's not fair.
You just don't. Yeah, especially when you get the ones with like the little twinge of blue, so you think it is.
Yeah.
I will say, saw it on the road yesterday, pulled up, ended up being a cop. So they
Yeah.
can have it. They are acceptable. However, it's just not needed. Like you don't need it. It's too bright when it's. Like I said, I'm driving home at like 1:30. I can't fucking see anything because your
Right,
headlights
it's
are in the back of
permanent
the head.
high beams.
And dude, okay, I don't know what year is your car. Is your car like older? newer?
1994.
Okay, sure. My car is 2017, right? So I wasn't even
Flex.
expecting that old. No, not a flex. Like, what I'm saying is, in my car, I have the option to have on automatic high beams. So it'll put on high beams and then it'll turn it off when it sees a car coming. However, by the time it sees the car coming, I'm already fucking blind. So I'm
Yeah.
rat listing automatic high beams. I don't use it. I do it myself. So if I see a car coming far enough in distance, I'll turn it off.
Yes.
But people have it on, and I can tell when they have it on because I'll see them coming, and like I'm already blind from the high beams. And by the time you turn it off, I would have already fucking hit your car. So it's
Well, what
pointless.
you should do is drive off the road and crash into a tree to teach them a lesson.
Dude, the automatic high beams ratless. They don't work well enough. They don't serve the intended purpose. High beams in general. Do you really need them? Do you really need the high beams?
Yes,
Like
you do need high beams at times, but oftentimes not on roads where there's other cars.
Also, so the general practice is don't have high beams on if there is a car coming, right? Like you turn it off so you don't blind the person in front of you. What people don't talk about is the fucking idiots who leave their high beams on when they're driving behind you. I can't
True.
see that way either, bro. Like
Then you
turn
really
it
look like
off.
a cop.
Yeah, out on high beams.
All right, you got anything else? Because I'm ready to close. I
I
got
think that was it.
I
Yeah,
got
go
the
ahead. Run it.
absolute ringer. All right, can you do the share screen for me, please?
Yeah, what
I
are we
have the
sharing?
link. I will take the rat down. So I was on Twitter this week, and I saw maybe the funniest news story I've ever seen in my life.
Where's the link?
There's what?
Did you give me the link yet, or are you?
The
gonna
link's
put it up
literally
here?
in the thing.
In the
It's
thing.
on the sheet.
Oh, sorry, in the sheet. I was looking at the private chat. I got it. I see. Okay.
So I'm scrolling through Twitter and I see this news story about a kid taking a stand on something. 10-year-old kid voicing his displeasure, trying to make a change in the world. Now, you may say, Sam, what is he trying to make a change on? Well, he has started a petition to Apple to change the glasses emoji because it's quote unquote offensive to people wearing glasses. Now, Jack, you wear glasses. Is the emoji offensive?
No, the kid's a loser.
If you're listening on audio platforms, you're really also we're putting a 10-year-old on the screen, but I mean they did it on Twitter. So but if you're listening on audio platforms, you're really missing out. You need the
Oh
visual.
my
Now the
God.
best part of this is the people in the replies were fucking ruthless. They put this
Can I
rat
scroll
kid in
or
his
can I not
place.
scroll?
Scroll down, yeah. First reply, always happy to bully a 10-year-old from the brand account. And they
It's
just
just
put a GIF of the emoji.
Wow.
What a nerd. Actual nerd moment. Got glasses and I don't give a fuck. There's one that it's like just like a big picture of the emoji. And the caption is the 10-year-old. Because he looks just like it. It looks just like a biggest snowflake ever. His parents must be. Yeah, the 10-year-old in question. It couldn't be more of an identical match. Like, aren't there like bigger problems? Like, I think Jack and I complaining about traffic is more important than this.
Yeah, as a glasses wearer, shut the fuck up, kid. Like this is
Well, he
this is dumb as
redesigned it.
hell.
I think they have a problem with the teeth. Because he had the photo shows him with the X over the actual emoji, and then a hand drawn emoji, which looks like shit.
You know what? Apple should make his emoji available. Like, put the smile in the same place. Like, make it a thing, and then just people are gonna use it to bully the fuck out of him anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is
Did
is
someone
dumb.
draw this with their offhand?
Yeah, this is dumb. As a glasses wearer,
Yeah.
who fucking cares? Like, what are we doing? Yeah, no, out on this. Leave
Shame
the
on him.
emoji. It's fine. It's dumb. It's stupid. That's all I got. Like, it's just fucking stupid. Like, how did he even get put in position to make a fucking stand on it? Like, where his parents like, yeah, good for you, Billy. Like, don't encourage that.
True.
Like, what are we doing? Or else
I'm not here to tell anyone how to raise their kids, but don't raise your kids like that.
All right, we can wrap there. Did we miss anything? I think we got it all right.
No, we got it all.
All right. Thank y'all for listening. We appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Check out Talking C's, our new show with Bobby Kavitsky at Sports Illustrated. Make sure to leave us ratings and reviews on Apple and Spotify. We'd appreciate it. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Yeah, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Hey, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. You don't want to miss Talking C's or the daily videos or the live streams or the full-length pods. So you'll get notifications anytime we put them up. You can leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think. Is the 10-year-old a rat? Is Payton Pritchard good? What does Jaylen Brown need to do? Whatever. Say what's popping so you get entered into the contest if you haven't already won. You can find us on Spotify and Apple as well. Make sure you leave us a follow there. Leave a 5-star review. Say something nice. If you want to get in contact with us, the email's on the screen, hbtcpod@gmail.com. You can send us emails there. Tell us what you're thinking. We'll read it on the show. Shout out to the guys that did. RJ's always there. Shout out to Joseph. I set myself up. We appreciate the guys that reached out. And Ian,
RJ, Ian, and Josh.
Sorry, Josh.
Yes.
You can follow us on socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook is just the name of the pod. All live streams will be there. We've been posting on the socials, so don't miss any of the content there. You can follow Jack on Twitter at JackSimoneNBA. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.